Hey everybody, just making sure I'm booted up here to see your comments live here on Dadified. Yep, we're going. So I can fade that thing out. What's up everybody? I hope you're having a great day. Oh, looks like I'm a little bit far that way. Maybe I can bring it down a bit. And then, yeah, it should be all right. Let's see who's in here. Oh man, right off the get-go, my buddy Bill B. Hey fellas, good morning. Just coming to say hi. I'll be working on the railroad, laying down some static grass, but we'll be listening to the show. I know it'll be a good one. Thanks, Bill. Glad you could join us. And this is kind of exactly what this is for. You don't have to be live in the chat interacting all the time. The whole idea with doing the lunch thing is, you know, I talk a lot anyways, so you can enjoy whatever you're doing and listen to me gab on about whatever we're bringing up whether it's topics that I have in mind or things that you guys are asking in the comments. So glad that you're with us, regardless of how you're enjoying it. I see pilot drummer David's in there. Tim, right out of the gate. Spikeman 94, welcome to the stream. Will refreshments be served? Yes, I brought down my Atlas glass full of zesty water. Let's see who else we got in here. UP 3982 Train Master Challenger. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Mount Pleasant Rail fans in here. Hello. Dadified, why is your main image Milwaukee Road 261? That's a great question. I'll get to that in a second once you guys are in here. Yeah, I kind of want to talk about that one. Dell's in here. What's up? Nice to see Bill in the chat, of course. Dell and Bill's a great friend of a lot of folks in O Gauge and a great friend of our Three Rails for Dad show. Shameless plug: this Friday, the 12th, we've got our live stream at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, with Art's Model Trains, Dell Hudson, Ray's Trains, this datified weirdo here, and we've got special guest JD Stucks. Jason is back from obscurity land. Well, no, he's had a bunch of stuff going on, and it was great catching up with him at York. And we're like, hey, since you're getting back into stuff with the channel, do you want to jump on the show? So fun to have him on this Friday. Going to be a good time. Choots is in here. All right, we can officially get started, right? Elijah, thanks for joining us. Hello. Who else is in here? Who is y'all's week been? I mean, I think I know how that's going, but it's only Tuesday, so the week's been good so far. I got off to a fun start this morning because my good buddy Travis Pastrana had an epic time in Australia, flinging around a custom-built Subaru Brat, like 70s pickup truck thing with all sorts of active aero. There's probably a couple original parts on that thing, but most of it's bespoke, like custom built in a shop in Vermont. And it was so fun seeing him shredding it in Aussie land. So if you're into cars or Subarus at all, give Travis a watch. He doesn't need the help. That video's probably already got like 1 million views in the first hour. But yeah, Gymkhana. Great to see Travis continuing to take the mantle with that. I am a little bummed that they're not doing as many Gymkhanas as they used to, but it takes a lot to put those together. Anyway, it's a train show, right? We should probably talk about trains. And one of you guys already asked about why the Milwaukee Road number 261, that beautiful S3, was in the picture. Well, first of all, to get some of y'all's attention, because I know that engine's got a pretty fun following anyways. But it's not just clickbait. I kind of want to talk with you guys about this because you all know at this point that I do some semi-scale and scale, and I try and blend the two together here. And I always get crap for, are you going to graduate to scale and leave your silly Lion Masters behind and stuff like that? No, I'm not planning on doing that. But 048 is a little bit of a tricky curve. On the one hand, it should limit what I can get much more than it has. 048 shouldn't work for 844 back here. 048 shouldn't work for the big Santa Fe Northerns, the Scale GS4. I'm actually kicking myself. There's a guy 45 minutes from where I live. There's a guy that's selling a Vision Line GS64 Western Pacific locomotive, and that's the one with cylinder steam and everything. Ah, that would be so sweet to have on the line. And I could technically run it, but out of respect for my K line models, I won't get it. Um, that and it's a bit of a spicy meatball. It's a good price he's got it for, but it's still a Vision Line. And it's still up there. That would be my first Vision Line engine ever if I got something like that. What am I missing in here? Looking forward to the latest Three Rails for Dad show. Yep, yeah, that's gonna be a fun one this Friday. Lord, not the Brat. Yep. If you don't know, the Brat's a little two-seater pickup truck with outboard, rear-facing, totally legal, Burt Reynolds approved passenger seats. And he actually makes use of that in the video too. Cool. I've screwed that enough times. There we go. Aiden, you're not late. You're fine. It's okay. Um, and Yeah, so 261. For those that don't know, the Milwaukee Road. It seems like everybody's famous steam engines, if they weren't like, Blue Comet and like New York Central Hudson's way back in the day, everyone else's famous steam engines really came at the peak, at the pinnacle of steam technology before dieselization was kind of allowed to take off. We could have seen dieselization earlier, but World War II kind of put a halt to new developments unless it was for wartime production. And so a lot of your steam locomotives got super powered because they're like, well, if we can't, make all new designs, then we better just make the best of what we have. And so we get epic designs like the Big Boy, the Challenger, the Northerns, all sorts of amazing motive power in the form of steam. And for a lot of them, they were the last orders of steam engines that some of these railroads would place. And one of those was the S3 class of Northern for the Milwaukee Road. I'm a little fuzzy on the history on it, but from what I've read, it's actually kind of a parts bin special. Um, they took elements from other locomotives that already existed. I believe one of them even traces back to Lackawanna. I'm gonna have to check that. Let me know in the comments if I got that right. But the S3's got some interesting roots in its development history, and it's just a cool looking locomotive too. Um, they did do some passenger duty. They were mostly used for fast freight. The coal haulers were going, and there was an electrified zone where they weren't allowed to operate. Um, and so they were operating east and west of the no steam zone. Um, but also after the war, 261 got assigned to the Milwaukee subdivision for the Milwaukee Road, and it was donated, and I'm pretty sure it's still around too. So 261's a special engine for Midwesterners in general, and it's a cool looking locomotive. And there was one at the train show that I was at on December 6th and 7th, and that created some issues of its own. But yeah, the Milwaukee Road 261, there was a legacy version of it there. And as far as I know, they only made it in legacy. They did a 2010 run and a 2017 run. Both pretty much had the same features, near as I can tell. Um, and the only way to visually tell, because it's sitting there in its styrofoam box at the show taunting me, um, but it's sitting in the box and you can't see the wheel set. And the only way to tell 2010 to 2017 is there's a section of the running gear that's black on the 2017 version, which is actually accurate to the real one. And on the 2010 version, it's just silver like the rest of the running gear. So I picked it up, but of course, in picking it up, like you can kind of walk by things and not get bothered. But once you start picking the train up, you get the vendor's attention. And so I picked this thing up and I'm looking at it like, yep, it's the 2010 version. So still legacy. I want to see what these things sound like though, because 2010 is a weird year for Lionel. Gosh, sorry, I'm still fighting off a cold here. But 2010 is a weird year for Lionel legacy rail sounds in specific, in particular. Oh, and Rick's in here, and Newt, and Speedtail. Man, we got a bunch more folks while I was rambling about 261. But so right around that time, they were switching from road name specific dialogue, which I am a sucker for, and generic crew talk. So, like my 2010 Legacy Lion Master T1 Duplex has road number specific dialogue. And the Volume 2 edition of the 2010 catalog was the S3. And so my brain is like, oh man, does the earlier version have road number specific dialogue? That would actually be a reason to get the older one over the newer one, if you ask me. Um, but yeah, I can't seem to find any videos of the sounds on that thing. Let me know in the comments if you guys know if the 2010 version has road number specific dialogue from Milwaukee Road 261 or if it's generic at that point. It'd be a shame if it was generic. But anyway, the reason that engine is not behind me on the line, there's two reasons. One, I am a little bit strapped for train funds right now. I'm not broke, but I am at my limit for what I should be getting train wise. I've been selling some stuff as well, mostly to make room and to clear out engines that were not really running a whole lot. Um, but also to recoup some funds as well because I'm not made of money and neither are people like our friend Chris. Everyone's like, he's getting out of the hobby. Like, no, he gets all these trains and he runs them and he does his videos and then he doesn't run them again. And if that's the case, then it's not worth hanging on to. It's not worth collecting dust on the shelf. So sometimes we rotate through the through our rosters. Um, but yeah, so 261 is a little bit too spicy of a meatball for me to get now. Thankfully, the guy that's selling it is in the Nebraska Iowa Railroaders Club. So I'm hoping sometime between now and before the next show in spring that they do, maybe I can talk him into getting it maybe a little later in the spring. But the other thing that keeps me from getting 261, I guess there's two things. Some trains, like I showed you, like my 844, can cheat their way around 048. Even though they're rated for 054 or 060 or whatever. I have yet to see somebody cheat the S3 around 048 turns. And it's got that little section between the tender and the cab. It's an all-weather cab to hold them closer together to make it look more realistic. And that makes me wonder if the whole idea is holding it closer together, does that mess with my plans to make it cheat around 048? So I would have to do a little bit more research to know if it'll clear the corners. And then, technically, third, that does bring me to a bit of a dilemma with this railroad. Um, for a long time, the secondhand overland had this nice balance of scale and semi-scale. I was only getting small scale steam engines like the Mogul and the Consolidation and other stuff like that. And Lion Master engines, which are big, articulated things, but slightly scaled down. And so they look fine on the rails together, and they look fine pulling the same kind of cars. And then bigger stuff starts to sneak their way into the roster. The first of which actually was this right of way bull moose that I got. That thing is a behemoth. It is large and in charge, and it only looks good with scale cars behind it. You put semi-scale cars behind the bull moose, and it starts to show its size. And as a result, the bull moose next to things like my big boy and challengers and stuff like that, they don't look great together. Um, and then the 844 shows up and it's full scale and it's like, ooh, this is getting kind of big. And then my Great Northern, the N3 that I have, And so I'm starting there's a bit of an imbalance in the collection right now where I can really only have things on the layout. Like if I have those guys on the layout, I'm pretty much only running scale stuff. If I have them on the shelves, then I'm doing my mix again. And I know you don't have to do that, but it's just the way that I like to operate my railroad, I guess. But oh, UP3982 says MTH I found is better bang for your buck. Um, maybe for you, but with Bluetooth control and Lion Chief, and with way more selection of locomotives from Lionel and from K Line for that matter. Um, and they're not really into the modern stuff. So like the new modern Atlas engines that are using MTH stuff, it's not really a pull for me. So all we operate here is Lionel, with some rail sounds cheaters with the K line stuff and Blue Nami, of course. We got Blue Nami in the Bull Moose, and it's going to be going on the Class N3 probably after the holidays because it's busy time of season. I was just on the workbench fixing some Christmas lights for the front yard. The baby Jesus was not powering up because the wires had been messed up going to it. So yeah. Oh snap! A live show. Hi, Steve's Place. Welcome. John Headley's in here says minimum curve can be different between production runs. My TMCC first run CNO F19 does not negotiate 048, but the run from last year has no issues on 048. That's really interesting. That's another thing that I've noticed. My recent 10-wheeler that I got, the Northern Pacific 10-wheeler, can go around 031, but there was a Chicago Northwestern 10-wheeler, number 1385, that was at that same guy's spot for the show, and I looked it up, and those are they say they can negotiate 042, but it's recommended 054. Like it actually says that on the Lionel website. So depending on the year of run, some stuff can and some stuff can't, depending on how they designed it, cheat their way around tighter turns. So yeah, that's a great point to bring up, John. Elijah's in here. Do you like DCC and sound engines? Um, well, I like DCC in that we've got Blue Nami in one of our locomotives, but since DCC is not exactly prevalent in the three rail world, um, yeah, they're great engines and everything, but I don't have a whole lot of experience with HO or with DCC in general. But all of these Lionels have sound. That's kind of their big selling point is they've got all the sounds and they have good sound output, lots of options, all that fun stuff. See, original release and re-release both have generic crew talk. Ah, dang. Mine handles 054 fine, but 048, you need to babysit it. It will run on 048, but not great. Ah, shoot. Well, I suppose that makes more of a case for finding the 2017 then. Um, wait, are you talking about, are you saying both of them have trouble on 048? Or did they improve things for the later version? If you can let me know, Case Dermal, that'll be great. Um, I've seen an S3 do 042, and there's a video of it from like 7 years ago. Mount Pleasant chimes in on that. Great, I'll have to check that out. Thank you, guys. Um, Asks did he has a video about one. Yeah, that's a good idea, Bill. I did check Eric's trains for sounds, but I don't remember hearing like crew talk stuff. Maybe I have to go back and do that. Because Eric's got reviews for everything under the sun, because I'm pretty sure he owns everything under the sun. Oh, Bladio 1589 says, "Hey, Dadified, Steamtown National Historic Site had a plan to restore Canadian Pacific 2317 once Boston and Maine 3713 is restored. Cool. Yay. Steam restorations are fun. I'm not really familiar with either of those engines, but that sounds great." Oh, Mount Pleasant is saying he's planning on getting the 267 from the 2010 run. Yeah, there's a guy that's, I thought I saw, it's either on Facebook or maybe at an Instagram post. I saw somebody selling 267 and from the 2010 run. Yeah, I'd say definitely if you've got 054 or bigger curves, they're a beautiful engine. It's probably one of the more faithful representations of the S3 that I've seen. And I've talked with rivet counters on that topic before, and they're like, yeah, of the ones Lionel has done on the things that Lionel has screwed up on other engines, S3 is pretty faithful, which is interesting because it seems like they put all their ducks in on Pennsy and New York Central, and all the other railroads get, you know, oh, we'll just do a reprint of a 10 wheeler consolidation for them. Yay. All right, what else am I missing? I don't care about road specific crew talk or crew talk at all, Newt says. Well, that's great. Um, yeah, honestly, crew talk's not the most important thing in the world if you're just running stuff. Um, but it's fun to include in videos, and it's really fun to do, especially with passenger trains with my son here, and telling him like all aboard, we're getting ready to leave and stuff like that. It's a play element, and so as a dad with a kid that's playing with these trains, yeah, that's a good one to have, and honestly has been a reason I've avoided some engines before because they've got Mr. Lionel, the most overused and abused dial. Now, the thing at least about Mr. Lionel is that engineer has been used in so many engines, but at least he's not boring to listen. Like he's kind of an excitable character. Like he's got a nice tone. Um, he's not like dispatcher, are we clear? Over. No, he's like, oh shit. We're ready. Is it okay to pull? Over. Like he sounds like a giddy little engineer. So at least he's not boring to listen to. But it's kind of sad to hear him in multiple engines as you run him around. My son did say though, so our big boy 4014 and our F3s both have Mr. Lionel in them. And so when we double head those, which you can do, is actually really fun. When we double head those, it's like, great, Mr. Lionel is in both trains because the whole thing's under his command right now. Great. Whereas when they're separate trains, you're like, how did the engineer jump from that train to the other one over here? Take some of the magic out of it. I used to convince my son that, every train had its own character, had its own engineer, had its own guy. And the dispatcher voice was the same for nearly all of them. So we had the one dispatcher talking from the tower with all of our guys on the line. Um, so yeah, it's been a fun element for us to explore. The crew doesn't care about you either, Rick says, in regards to the the road specific crew talk. Let's see. I don't need a Windows update right now. I skipped it last week, and I'm gonna skip it again now. Let's press the blue arrow and come down. Oh, Steamtown had an operating Perrier Marquette. 1225 was gonna go with 261, but some words there block her. Something blocked her from going. That's kind of a pain. I've seen 261 do excursions recently in videos. I love, love, love the beaver tail, the Hiawatha observation car that they saved. That thing's amazing. Ah, just looks so cool. There's nothing else like it. Let me get some water here before I die. Oh, my voice. If I didn't like talking so much. A trains has arrived. Trains mania. Wait, are you talking about like trains.com? Like you got something and it arrived on your doorstep? Or are you saying that because trains is part of your name that you've arrived? Yay. Either way, welcome. Washington Rail Boys in here. What's up? Seabert's in here. It's all because that kinematic drawbar. It is probably the kinematic drawbar, which is cool tech. But man, I'm right on the edge of being able to run an S3 apparently. And especially that side of the layout. If you guys aren't familiar with the layout, it gets pretty close. This is 060, so it'd be fine there. But the 048 turnaround sections get right up to the edge of the table. So if something does want to derail, and it's going to derail that direction, as it's making its way around a curve, it's going to fall off the freaking table. That ain't good. So I got to be careful with what I get. Let's see. Chooch says, crew talk is okay, I guess. We don't talk like that on the railroad, though. Yeah, I know, but It's our railroad and it's make believe, right? It's so funny. Like we we strive for realism with all these modern trains and scale cars and all that stuff. But our crew talk's all wrong. We have a third rail. So is it all in vain? I don't know. Ask Norm Charbonneau. Mike, somehow you must expand to 072. Nope. No, the only plan where 072 would work down here is a boring plan. And these trains are too much fun to be bored with them. So not gonna not gonna sacrifice fun for ooh, I can run a scale big boy. Actually, apparently 072 still can't run a scale big boy because train board had issues with theirs, but I think that's a construction issue. I'm not supposed to bring up that engine. It's like the who shall not be named kind of train for them. TDKC's in here. What's up? More Central Time Zone representing. Let's see. Sleeves is in here. What's up, Sean? Man, I got a lot of my Midwesterners in here. That's fun. Maybe it's because I put a 261 in the for the thumbnail. I am actually going to visit somebody today with trains after this. I'm headed northwest of here. My buddy Don, his channel is like My Train Room or something like that. I need to talk him into getting a more searchable, more rememberable name for his YouTube channel because he's making great videos, great tutorials, and he's got fantastic. He's an HO guy originally. He's doing O scale now, and he's got amazing technique for building scenery. And so part of the reason why I want to go is to actually like in person kind of pick his brain on stuff like that and see it. Because yeah, this spring, Elevated Lion's getting redone again, and gonna try and do better scenery around the rock wall and stuff like that. It's not been bad. It's just I'm kind of exploring what I can and can't tackle realistically. And a lot of it's just resources of stuff that I don't have. I've just got crinkled up like wrapping paper, spray it gray, dab it with a sponge with some lighter gray, hot glue some moss to it, and call it a day. It's not bad. I don't think it's bad. Did you think my scenery sucks? Let me know. Take out a basement. Well, no. No, 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 no. Meant I have arrived because I'm Trains Mania. Yes, I kind of wondered that after I read your username. I saw the comment first. Crew talk is fun, really. The third rail doesn't make a difference to me either way. Yeah, it's fine. It's fun. Let's see, what else am I missing in here? Someone has to sign off. I probably already missed you, but thanks for joining us. Let's see. Aiden says, "So lucky I'm going on the North Pole Express this weekend, and they just barely in time for my trip got 1225's wheel bearing issue fixed." So I saw that. So Perry Marquette, the real Polar Express, is running right again. I was so bummed because last year it missed a bunch of stuff, and then they're all ready for this year, and then nope, like not 2 years in a row. That would be the worst. Great Northern Videos is in here. Hello! A bit of a shout out to Great Northern I'm going to do now, especially since he's here. But also, you'll see it in a future video soon. But when I went to the train show, he met me there, and he and his son gave us something. And don't worry, I caught Colin's original like reaction to opening it and running it around here. And then we brought it the next day to the train mall, to the Nebraska Iowa Railroaders clubhouse, and ran it a bunch there. And then he shared his Lion Chief controller with other kids that they also got to use it. And he's having a ton of fun with it. It's a train I never would have thought to get, but he does like the road name, I suppose I'll say. And yeah, having a ton of fun with it. Super generous of you guys. Thank you so much for that gift. Um, put a big old smile on our faces with that. So, really fortunate to know people like you guys in the hobby. And thank you again because he's loving it. And we'll have more on that in a future video, hopefully before the end of the year, but might be right at the turn of 2026. Tattooed Trains is in here. What's up, buddy? Happy lunch hour. All right. Trains Mania says, I recently started with O gauge trains, proud Lionel. The engines I got are the MPC General, a Lionel Chief 442, number 246, and the amazing 700 Hudson, the 90s edition. Man, that's a pretty sweet lineup to start off with. The General is just a classic. It's funny because I've got some General locomotives that they kind of redid in a they're kind of done up to look like Promontory Summit, the number 119, and the Jupiter, kind of the cow catchers together for the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. And they just redid some generals and did some paint jobs on them and such. They're convincing ish. But it's the loudest engine I have because the running gear in the General is kind of loud. Um, I'm curious to see with the new American type that they're coming out with, that they kind of released earlier, or like in an earlier catalog. Kind of curious to see if they've got like a more modern engine in there that's motor in there that's quieter. So we'll see. Oh, Carson likes the Rio Grande UP train. Yeah, it's a beauty. I'm waiting. So for me, 4 cars is still technically too short. And I would love to add another passenger car to this to make it 5. That'd be perfect for me. But finding these cars is tricky enough. Um, and I'm waiting on MTH. I'm waiting on MTH to release their express reefers because there's a custom run express reefer that's made to go with these cars, and that will be perfect because it'll bridge the gap nicely between the scale car and whatever locomotive is in front. Because I've pulled this train both with 844 and with my Lion Masters. The Lion Masters look great with it, but having that express reefer car in there will help bridge the gap sizeways a little bit better. So looking forward to adding that. Um, I have myself to blame because I did technically have that fixed. I had a regular green Railway Express Agency express reefer, and I gave that to Sleeves Rail, who's probably in the comments still. And then I got to thinking, well, shoot, I could have used that to bridge the gap between just about any semi-scale engine and scale cars, but it's okay. Noah, hello, welcome. Let's see. Newt says, Mike, you should go to Ben's stream tonight. You and Ben can have a happy contest. What do you mean? I mean, Ben's pretty happy. I'm pretty. Are you talking about like just our general demeanor and that sort of thing? Have a contest? That's interesting. Um, Ben's stream is tricky for me to get to, and tonight will be impossible to get to because we are going to the Durham Museum downtown, which is the old Union Station. They've got a Christmas tree up there, and they're open late on Tuesday nights only. And my son has been begging to go to see the lights there again. And yeah, so we're going to the museum tonight to see that. So I won't be able to make it on his stream tonight. Um, yeah, Tuesday nights are always tricky because it's like, hey, I've got Tuesdays off, but once everybody's home, once my wife and kid are home, um, either we're doing taekwondo practice, or we got somebody coming over, or we're going out to do something that night. There's always, especially this time of year too. TDKC saying hi to people. What's not public knowledge yet? Wait. Ah, sleeves. Yes, I did. Um, I suppose if you're watching the live this later on, you can still look through the chat. But no, the cars for that train did arrive. It is interesting though. So everyone's like, "Oh, the Atlas cars, the Atlas 18-inch cars are MTH," but the trucks are way more detailed. Because the trucks that I've seen on the MTH Premier cars that I have, um, are essentially the same as my Rail King trucks. They're not bad, but they're not nearly as detailed and nice as these ones are. So so yeah, the passenger. I wish I could find just like some Atlas passenger trucks and swap them over because they look so much nicer. It's all right. Not a big deal. Woohoo! Tony says it's nice to be retired and no wife. I set mine up in the living room and a wall of trains, plus so much more under my table. Yeah, the single life can be a lot of fun because nobody can tell you no, I suppose. Um, but also, I've got my wife to thank for this though, because this train room is so much more fun and usable as a room in general because of the parameters that she set. Don't move the TV, don't move the couch, make it so we can still watch the TV, so don't block the way in here, and you can build whatever crazy table you can think up. And the door coming out of the garage dictated a little bit of traffic space. The door going out to the patio dictated the edge of the layout over there. So very quickly, I figured out what I could and couldn't do. And man, is it still fun though. Like we had 4 trains going the other day on this single line, 5 if you count the Polar Express on the elevated loop. It's just a good time. Um, I like this size. I like the trains that we have that we're running around it. I still like the challenge of finding trains that will fit around these corners. Um, yeah, it's a good time. No regrets. Says I've been to Omaha a lot in August, and I visited Kettific Park on our last stop before you head back home. Awesome. You've been to like one of my favorite places ever. And it's even more of my favorite place now because they finally finished a cosmetic restoration of 4023. So I apologize for the abysmal state that 4023 was in when you visited in August. On behalf of the city of Omaha, I apologize. But I'm proud to say that the Jenks shop came up and did a knockout job with it. Especially, I was I was a little bit let down at first. The very like the when they first opened the park. Um, Paint job looked great, but it was missing the number boards still. Like some of them had been blown out from a bad windstorm. The other ones are just so faded you couldn't read them. I'm like, oh man, that would be the icing on the cake with this beautiful paint job if they had the number boards restored. And before I could even think to message Ed Dickens about it, they already had new number boards on it. So as of what, late September? No, mid October, they finally reopened it. The same time that I did the Big Boy 4023 story video. Yeah, that's an awesome place up there, and it's even better because the trains are looking better than ever. Honestly, 6900 isn't looking bad. It's just sun faded on the south side. Um, but yeah, it's still in good shape. That one could use a little bit of a refresher on that side, but I don't. It's kind of hard to just refresh one side because then you have to match the paint fade on the other side of the engine. I don't know. Oh, some more stuff in here. Have you ever taken any measures to quiet your fast track? Or is noise just accepted? That's a great question. So if you can't notice, this is not simulated grass like Bill B is working on right now. This is just carpet. There it is. But it's a pretty thick outdoor carpet, and it does help deaden the sound a little bit. But at the end of the day, the inherent nature of how Fast Track is designed, I've even seen people like try and like spray foam underneath the tracks to insulate it. Fast Track's just noisy, just the way that it's designed. It's it's a uh, it's a good design for in some applications, and it's kind of a gosh, why did you do this design for other applications? So, but no, I mean, the top is made has a foam layer. I didn't do a foam layer down here. I did do a foam layer on the elevated line, and that does seem to help a little bit. I've also found that running my train slower helps with noise. Um, Running at more prototypical speeds tends to be way less noisy. And some of my cars, these Atlas cars are noisy as heck. They have more rolling resistance. Like I've lubricated the heck out of these wheels, and they still like you push it and then it just kind of stops. I don't know if it's the pickups for the power in them or what, but my K-line daylight cars are like butter. You sneeze at the thing and it'll go from one end of the layout to the other with no problem at all. Um, so yeah, some of it's just down to the wheels themselves, the locomotives that are running. If the locomotive or the cars are noisy, fast track or otherwise, it's going to be noisy. But I was running the Polar Express at low speed behind me when I was doing the video there, and I was running my K-Line Daylight with its passenger cars really slowly, and it was whisper quiet down here. I literally just had like some Christmas music playing and just sat back and relaxed and watched the lights flicker off the cars. It was so nice. Yeah. What else we got? Daniel says, "Thank you so much for your content here." Thanks. I owned a hobby shop in the 80s and sold in many train shows back then. I can't get to shows anymore, and I love your show videos. Oh, thanks. I don't do too many show videos because there's not a whole lot out here, but I will have stuff on the show that we just went to that was here locally. I'm gonna kind of include that with other footage that we have from our visits to the clubhouse this winter because it's always a fun time of year to visit. It's the clubhouse is inside a mall, and so when the mall gets more traffic because of the holidays, so does the clubhouse, and it's just fun to be able to connect with people there and watch the kids enjoy the trains and all that. Noah says I put Jenga blocks on my 9 hopper cars, give them more weight, I suppose. Pilot Drummer says that's awesome. They got a new number boards for 4023. I can't wait to get an overnight there and see it repainted. Yeah. Um, he's that guy's through town every now and then. That's how we met on accident. We met up at Kennefic Park. My son and I were up there eating lunch, and there was a guy up there, and we were talking about it. And I can't remember if he recognized us or if I did my shameless plug thing. But yeah, one thing led to another, and now whenever he's in town, it's like cool. Let's get together and do train stuff. Also, I am super glad to hear that your 4011 Lion Master Big Boy is running great. Tom's here, Gold Standard. What's up, man? Thanks for joining us. Steamrow Willie's in here too. Del- Dell's just warming up for Friday for the live stream. He's always my welcome wagon when I miss stuff in here. If you're interested, there's a brand of O-gauge 3-rail British trains that can run on Lionel track. It's called Ace Trains. That was terrible. They're really nice. Um, I mean, I think I've seen some of that stuff on RJ's channel and such because he's really into the European stuff. But no plans to do. I'm actually trying to focus the collection a little bit more back on Midwest and Western kind of stuff. Um, we found some East Coast stuff, some new homes. I still have my Class A, and I still have my Legacy Lion Master T1 Duplex. But everything else that was East Coast has pretty much gone to the East Coast. One of them is in Arizona. But yeah, so probably not going to branch out to that, but always neat to see people enjoying that stuff. It's always neat to see the different ways that you can do 3-rail. We do things our way, but it's always great to see the diversity in the hobby is really what's amazing to me because I feel like everything else just tries to do things one way. Make it as real as possible, make it as prototypical as possible, make it as rivet counter as possible. Strive. There we go. I think it was just my computer on this end. Lunch live is fun and different. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, it's been working for us for the last month or so. I've been having a lot of fun doing this because it's time that I have, and it's also not stepping on anyone else's toes. I know there's a lot of live streams out there, but it's also a fun way to kind of like I have all these ideas for videos, but some of them I just don't like can't really flesh out into a full length video. But it's too long to kind of do in a short, so it's fun to just be able to address stuff in here. Um, Great Northern says a trick I've learned with integrated plastic roadbed is to minimize the number of screws that you use to secure it to the table and don't screw them in tight, just enough to hold it in place. I wonder if that's part of the problem is we're like, "Nyeh," and then there's all this tension, and that tension probably relates to more kind of echoey, noisy kind of track stuff. That's a good point. Thanks, man. Maybe I'll go through and go. I just put the winter tires on my Subaru. Um, Go through with my torque wrench and check the torque on all of the screws around here. Make sure that they're the right spec. Let's see. Oh, thanks for joining us, Bladio. Um, when Lionel incorporating smoke and sounds into freight cars, I like the hot box reefer. How about steam heat effects on a passenger car set? Yeah, I suppose you could do that with like a diner car or something. But yeah, the hot box reefers is just such a cool idea. Although, as my son pointed out, why do they do it on a reefer car? Reefer cars keep things cold. They have ice cream in them. I don't want the ice cream to melt. And so the idea of the hot box being a reefer car is almost like sad to him. Like it should almost just be a regular box car instead. But I suppose the reefer car does kind of help it though because you can hide the smoke fluid in one of the hatches for putting the ice in on the roof. It's clever. I like it. We haven't run ours in a while. We probably need to. Oh, did we? Is everything okay on you guys? It looks like everything's okay in the chat. I feel like Eric Siegel now having tech issues. I need to wrap things up here soon, anyways, because I need to hit the road and go visit my buddy Don. Um, Spoiler alert, Don, if you're watching, I'm bringing my Rio Grande to run on your Cumbres and Toltec kind of inspired layout there, so that'll be fun. No, it's a Cripple Creek inspired layout. When I tried to move the drawbar, the glue on the bogey came undone. Oh wait, I think I missed a previous comment, and now there's more comments, so I'm missing it again. Turns out the tender has a bit of a tumble. I need to go up further. There's more to this story. I found out why I got a deal on that set from the show. Oh no. All right. It turns out the tender has a bit of a tumble and here. The front truck bogey broke. Oh, maybe it had a bit of a tumble. Like and some stuff was messed up from that. It glued the drawbar in place when they fixed it. That's not so fun. Let's see. Let's try and get caught up here. Gold Standard says if Lionel puts smoke in a passenger car, it'd be a $700 car. Yeah, you're not wrong there. The pricing on passenger cars has almost outpaced the pricing on locomotives. Like $700, you can get yourself a Lion Chief Plus 2.0 steam engine or one passenger car. Like we're getting to that point. It's a little ridiculous. Um, I still do think it's nuts getting passenger cars without passengers in them, especially with how easy it is to put passengers in them. Passenger, glue, dupe, the end. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, why they're at such a premium price for those. I really like these 18-inch cars because they fit well around this type of a layout. On a bigger layout, 21 would look fine, but I just think the 18s are more versatile. I want to be honest, I'm very afraid to buy or get modern Lion Chief, like a Big Boy or Allegheny, for example. Well, you don't have to worry about the Allegheny because it never made an Allegheny in Lion Chief. They almost did. I made a video about that. But no, so I mean, shoot, our big boy 4014, way back there, you can't see it. It's off screen. Um, gets the most runtime of any engine around here because my son's favorite train. And we run it everywhere. We bring it to places, and so it's traveled and just wrapped up in a blanket and kind of thing. It's resilient. It's fun. It pulls a ton of cars. It's never had any issues. The smoke unit got a little noisy, but what Lionel unit doesn't? I need to go in and probably just fix the batting and get some oil on the fan. But yeah, the Lion Chief Plus 2.0 stuff has been pretty resilient. We haven't had issues with ours. If anything, the drawbar on the 4014 Big Boy, the Lion Chief version of the Lion Master, because it's a Lion Chief connector, the connection is actually closer than it is on the Legacy version of it with the wireless drawbar. Um, I was actually hoping that would tighten up the connection on the new Lion Chief Plus 2.0 Hudsons, but they didn't do it that way, which is kind of a bummer. RMT is keeping freight affordable. Yeah, so RMT just needs to make passenger cars and then we'll all be set, right? There's so many fans out there for model trains where I live, and the budget is very tight. Yeah, that's getting to be the case for everybody. Before I do videos, a lot of times I'll kind of flesh the idea out just by writing something out. I'll type it up. I'll kind of, even if I just say it here, sometimes I script it and then I just do it as a voiceover for videos. But a lot of the times I just prefer just to talk like this. Um, and I'll use that as a way to organize my thoughts too. And so I was writing one about the elephant in the room, the cost, the rising cost of these trains, and it's pricing folks out, and it's getting more difficult to collect all this stuff. And it got to be a very depressing write because I realized how screwed we are, and there's nothing we can do about it. Oh, go vote. Oh, go do this. Oh, no, every price is never going to stop going up, and it's just getting out of control because when I look at like my last, and let me know in the comments if you're in the same boat, but really over the last 5 years, any increase in pay that I've seen from my employer has not managed to overcome the amount of increased cost on everything else. Not just trains, everyday stuff, gas, groceries, taxes, licensing your car, all that stuff. So the hobby budget gets even more diminished because we're spending so much more on just regular stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of a depressing state. So I decided I'm not going to do that video. Also, because it's impossible to talk about that without getting into some sort of politics, current events kind of stuff, and that just gets everybody angry. I don't want to do that. Oh, hey, thanks for the shameless plug there, Steam Rail Willie. Yeah, if you're in here and you haven't liked the video already, would appreciate that. Don't like it if you don't like it, but if you don't like it, you're probably not sticking around to listen to me yak on about this stuff. Let's see. Aiden says the only reason I order the newest run is if you want one in the new road names. The older ones are near identical and more affordable, and fairly common. Yeah, unless you really need that road number or road name or whatever that they're making in new catalog stuff, secondhand market, especially with tariffs too. Secondhand market, they're already here. They can't get import taxed if they're already here in the States. So not only were they cheaper then, and typically people aren't saying, hey, if the MSRP was, $1,000 then, and then we have this inflation and it's going to be $1,400 now, you're going to pay me what it would have been worth if it was released now. Most people aren't doing that. So even if you're buying things at cost of what they were back then, you're actually still getting a pretty decent deal, as long as it's not trashed, as long as it's in good shape. That's always the thing with model trains is most people, yeah, most people run these and things happen, and some people just don't take care of things like they should. Um, it's one thing if an engine is dusty, if you just can clean it off or whatever. But it's another thing if they've been working on some on the layout and that like spray for whatever they were using to hold down stuff gets on the engine. Now it's eating away at the paint. Can't really fix that. Ed's in here. What's up, buddy? Do, Newt says, "Do the video. Anger is fun." I don't know if I could pull it off. I mean, it does kind of make me upset to see like what's going on with all that stuff. But I honestly, the more I read through what I was writing, I wasn't getting angry. I was getting sad. kind of a kind of a nervous laugh now. Harry's in here. Started selling my HO scale stuff, and I just got my first O scale engine. It's an Atlas Norfolk Southern Dash 8 from Trains. Nice and affordable. Congrats, Harry. That's a nice one to get. An Atlas too, so the details on that are gonna be amazing. Glenn says my 10% down I paid for Eric's custom Hudson paid for the tariff tax. Ooch. Yeah. Yeah, those Hudsons are coming in. It's the year of the Hudsons. I don't know. I'm probably gonna get yelled at, but I'm kind of tired of Hudsons. There's so many Hudsons. And it's great that they're coming out, but there's a lot of them. A lot of Commodore Vanderbilts, a lot of the Division Line ones are starting to get out there, and I'm happy that everybody loves them, but everyone's got the same ones, and so it is neat to see them on like different layouts and stuff like that. And glad that those folks added those to their collections. But I'm like, all right, once I've seen a Hudson, for the last several months, kind of ready for something different, like a oh, I don't know, like a Y6B in Great Northern colors with a bunch of Polar Express cars behind it with smoke going all over the place. That was a good one, Tom. I like that one. All right, Sleeves is heading out. See you later, buddy. Someone said, sorry, Steps Place said, Chris dropping his big boy. At least he fixed it and won't sell. Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, if you're looking at secondhand trains, you know what's happened with all of Chris's trains because you've seen all the videos about them. So if he ever does sell 4014, it's at least had a spill and that Sid helped him fix it. So you probably won't be able to tell that it was ever dropped because Sid's a wizard. What do you think will be in the 26 volume? I hope a S3 is in the 26 volume. No, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm really bad at guessing that stuff anyways. But honestly, at how expensive stuff is, I kind of hope there isn't anything in the catalog that I want. I won't be able to afford it. Or I'll try and find ways to justify how I can afford it and then still like be, sell my STI to be able to afford it. And still supporting family. Yeah, that too. Run of Mohawks would be cool. Ben says that'd be cool. Different the Mohawk was a mountain essentially, wasn't it? It was a 482. I think the Mohawks are the same wheel arrangement. We just got mountains though, so maybe not. I don't know. They are still probably different. Let's see. I saw a picture of a Lion Chief Plus 2.0 Pennsylvania S2 turbine set. Apparently, it was in the 2022 Big Book, but it was canceled. Well, I mean, yeah, there have been things that have been canceled in other catalogs before, but I think this latest one had the most amount canceled. And one of the more interesting things that got canceled. Oh shoot, we made it to an hour. Congratulations, everybody. I did that video on kind of the myth of modern engines and how they're really not that bad to get. And don't get scared by all the angry people yelling at you on the internet, saying how bad Lion Chief and Legacy and TMCC and all that stuff is. Because there are still ways to repair stuff. And I think you need to learn how to repair stuff regardless of whether you're collecting post-war, MPC, modern, or otherwise. But everyone's like, I wish Lionel would make an old conventional controlled engine again. And they put one in the catalog. And you know what people didn't order enough of that got canceled? That set. Now, you could argue that, oh, that's because it was too expensive. If you take the MSRP of that set and you go back in time, it's actually cheaper, I think, to get the modern take on that set than it was by inflation standards when they initially released it. So everyone claims that, if they bring back conventional control and they bring back the basics, that they'd buy it. But we literally have proof that that's not true from the 2025 book. So I need to start fixing some post-war stuff because I need to get familiar with doing that stuff. Especially now that we got the ZW, it's easier to run those on the main line. And now that I got the shutoffs for the switch yards, so that way they're not freaking out when I'm doing the transformer up and down, and the modern electronics are like, "What are you doing? Stop!" Oh yeah, Trains Mania said, yeah, it's like a mountain type, but we were named after a river, like the Hudsons and Niagaras and such. Will's in here. I'm thinking about going to the Trains Legacy repair schooling. If you need help with post-war, let me know. I know how to repair post-war. Good. Actually, I was on the phone yesterday with Chris Cloverdale. I was just talking about that stuff. He's like, hey, next time I run into trouble with modern, I'll call you. And if you run into trouble restoring, I've got it's like a Lehigh Valley Tunner. It's got the red shell. I forget what year it was, but that thing does not run well, and I need to fix it. And yeah, taking apart motors is not something that I've ever done before. My dad's old Lionel 1654, we pretty much it ran kind of crappy, and we just kind of kept forcing it through, and eventually it burnt through all of its dust and dirt that had accumulated over the years and runs again. Although the E unit in that one's a little bit weird. Sometimes when I start it up, it doesn't want to go forward. It just wants to stay, and then reverse, and then stay, and then maybe forward, and then stay, and then definitely reverse, and then stay, and then maybe forward. Yeah, so the forward's kind of dodgy. The reverse is fine. You just flip the thing. Why is it always that reverse is always the last thing to go? It's like, I don't need it to reverse. If anything breaks, I need reverse to be the thing that breaks. I want the forward motion all the time. But the forward motion breaks because it's what we're using all the time, right? Steve's Place says, a lot of fun to get to fix post-war, and honestly easy because there's really not much to them. Just learning how to clean and lubricate, and that's it. If you want the wheel press, be my guest. Yeah, I don't have a wheel press yet. That would probably be a good tool to have. Steam Rail Willie says, I believe the engine of my new set uses a post-war molding. Yeah, shoot, our Lionel F3s are using old moldings. There's a lot of stuff they're still reprinting from back then. Shoot, the Polar Express Madison cars are super old. Oh, sweet. Aiden says D.A. Griffin's got part 2 of the viewer submissions. I need to get mine done. I'm going to finish filming mine Thursday and send that to Dave. If you guys haven't done the boxcar challenge already for Bill B, and if you guys haven't done the viewer submission thing for D.A. Griffin Hobby, get those done soon because it's always fun. Again, seeing the variety of ways that we enjoy these trains, those always come through in the viewer submissions. You see the modern stuff, see the old stuff, you see kind of the in-between stuff. It's always great seeing the variety, all the ways that we enjoy these trains. And at the end of the day, I can take my Lion Chief guy and go over to Post-War guy's house, apply full track power, and use it. And he can come over here with his post-war train, and I can use my ZW and power on the track, and he can use it here. It's all 3 rails. It's all good. It's a good time. And then you got guys like me, Ed's chiming in, who are breakers, not repairers. I'm awesome at breaking things. Fixing things, not so much. Yeah, to me, the more you fix stuff, the more you kind of build up that knowledge base to do it. But sometimes you might break things more in learning how to try and fix stuff. All sorts of tutorials on there. Before I kind of wrap things up so I can get over to Don's house, I want to show you guys 2 things that I got recently. One of them was from trains.com. The other stuff I can't show you. And the other one was from the train show. Actually, there's another thing on the train show, but I think it's already out here running. But I got this Woodside Reefer. This one's K-line, but it's the same design as all the modern Atlas ones that everyone's going nuts about. But this one's from Lubbock, Texas. And I've been running some more Texas kind of stuff recently with the Katy, Missouri Pacific, stuff like that. And I like what it says here. It says, real butter from the cool, breezy plains of Texas. The cool, breezy plains, man. I don't know. I thought that was kind of fun text for that car. And then I finally got good food. Good food, good feelings. I guess it's not Village Inn. But yeah, I got a Union Refrigerator Transit. And yeah, can run anywhere, right? Coast to coast. I don't know exactly where these ran, but I like to think that they kind of ran anywhere. But yeah, so those two Woodside Reefers to add to my collection there. I've been trying to aim for more just region specific names so I can put whatever train I want in front of it. And that's kind of my elevated line, if you guys aren't familiar with it, is covering a whole loop under there. I'll show you. Doo-doo-doo. So the elevated line here is covering train storage underneath. And if I move this guy out, which I won't right now, this set of cars, pretty much from that car on in, are all my Woodside Reefers. And those go, here we go, all the way along the edge of the inside of this gigantic elevated line thing. And so there's like 12 or 13 cars in there. I can't remember exactly how many, but enough to make a decently sized train. And so I guess if we're going to finish out here, I might as well get some trains rolling for you while I log off. Because, yeah, I probably need to finish things up. Let me run back over to the computer here and see what y'all are saying before I depart. Let's see. D.A. Griffin. Oh, he said that. Yeah. Speaking of Bill B, did you reach out and reach out to me yet about my guess? I don't know what that means. It's okay. I'll figure it out. Thank you for today's live stream. Thanks for joining us, Tim. Thanks everybody for joining us. If you haven't already, leave a like. And if you're watching this in the future, I hope it was just as fun to watch then as it was to make now. But yeah, let's get the elevated line going here with the old ZW. Boop. I got the Polar Express on silent, so no chuff. But I do have the puff at least going for the smoke. And while we're at it, for good measure, why not? Let's get the main line going. That never gets old. Double checking, making sure I don't have anything else on the line. I don't think I do. I think it's just 844. And I just topped off its smoke, so it should be pretty good. But yeah, I'm going to keep doing this every week. It's been fun. Glad you guys have been enjoying it. Oh, you know what? I forgot to use this thing. I found this at Menards of all places. Thought it'd be fun to use for our live streams, and I forgot to use it for the live stream. I'm a dummy. Oh well. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming. Oh, there's that smoke. Yay. I always like seeing the smoke when it's dancing with the lights here. And it's dark enough in here to where the Christmas lights look even better when you've kind of got it with the low light. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Thanks for chiming in. I will see you guys next Tuesday live again. Stay tuned. Got another video coming up on Friday that I'm working on. Should be a lot of fun. And always love hearing from you guys. So thank you so much for chiming in. And we'll see you on the next one.